Folks, I just want to say how excited I am personally and for the community and the city council and the mayor and the governor, all the elected officials and Representative Thomas for this particular community that's had a significant number of challenges. We had the pleasure of having Project Home come into our community years ago, and if I can sum up Project Home and what it meant to this particular community, I'd say adaptability. They have come to the conclusion early on in their tenure, in their infancy stage, that we needed to deal with homeless challenges in the neighborhood and in the city of Philadelphia, and they adapted a model that allowed us to deal with that particular problem. And then as they came up into this particular section of the city, they understood the need to stabilize communities with home ownership, and they worked with a number of partners to pull that together. And then they understood that the educational needs of our young people were extremely significant, and we work with our good friends, the Honickmans and the Roberts and all of the other people that are a part of the Project Home family, and build a wonderful facility around on Judson Street. They've always figured out a way to deal with the needs of the people in this community. And I just want to say how excited I am and how proud I am of the wonderful work you've done. This particular Project Home family is an interesting process, because you get adopted and you don't even know. You actually don't even have papers. You just get, it's kind of like, I'm talking to my friends, I know, Lynn, you know what I'm talking about, the Middletons, you know what I'm talking about. Now you, Steve, you're the latest member, got no papers, but all of a sudden, mail starts coming to your house, Project Home, right? What is that all? And it's a wonderful thing. And with that, I want to say to the people who are here for the first time to one of these events, guess what? You are adopted, all right? And it's a special thing. But for the groundbreaking ceremony today, I just want to say how important and significant it is to have a facility that's going to be proactive in dealing with some of the health challenges in this neighborhood. The mayor has indicated earlier about some of the statistics and about this particular community. Governor referenced the need to deal with some of those needs. And I want to say it is really a wonderful thing that Jefferson and Steve spearheading this initiative to get things done. The Middletons being a significant part, again, for a wonderful development, and how important this means to the neighborhood, not just in the actual building itself and not actually as it relates to the service that will be provided, but the symbolism associated with investment in this neighborhood makes people in this community understand that people do care about this community. As I talk to my friends and residents, because I happen to be fortunate enough to grow up in this community, we understood what this used to be, all right? This used to be, Cecil B. Moore was the block that you wanted to be, all right? I mean, it was all of the things happened to Cecil B. Moore. And through a series of time, some unfortunate things happened. But now we're bringing it back. We're going to bring it to the level and surpass that level to what it was. So to all of the partners, Project Home, all of the partners, the friends, governor, mayor, I want to thank you, Representative Thomas, Kelvin, Brian, all you folks. I'm just going on. I'm going to miss some names and I'm going to get in trouble. But I just want to thank you all so much. I'm just so excited about what we've done today. So again, Mary, thank you for your wonderful work. Keep up the work. We will be awaiting your next request. Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I like to hear, Darrell. I'd also like to acknowledge Ann Morrissey, who's here from Amara Health Caritas, as well as Lorena Marshall from IBX, two very, very important partners in our work for healthcare. It's really an honor to introduce the next speaker, Brian Hudson from the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. Just to give you a little background, PHFA, since its inception in 1972, has made over 127,000 affordable housing units possible throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And in addition, and especially under Brian's leadership, they have prevented more than 50,000 families from being foreclosed upon on their homes. And if you go anywhere in the country and you're in the work of trying to end homelessness or affordable housing, the first thing that people say to you is, if you're from Pennsylvania, how incredibly lucky you are to have the leadership and the vision of the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. And I really just want to welcome and thank Brian Hudson, not only for what he's done for the state of Pennsylvania, for the city of Philadelphia, but for what he's done around the country, the way he's inspired so many more agencies to go that extra mile, get that extra dollar to help people most in need. So please join me in welcoming Brian Hudson.
Thank you, Sister Mary. I got to tell you that you set the bar high. Each time I think we've reached a new milestone. She tops at JBJ Soul Homes, Kate's Place, and now we have the Wellness Center. So I got to tell you, it's an honor to have you as our partner at PHFA, and you and Joan McConnell. So give yourselves and Project Home a big hand again. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, so I wanted to be clear. I did not bring housing tax credits today, especially since I'm sitting next to Council President Darrell Clarke. That's 2 weeks from now. I also want to thank Governor Corbett for his support, because without your support, Governor, PHFA would not be able to fulfill its mission. So thank you for everything that you do. Representative Curtis Thomas, I've testified before many of your committees on foreclosure prevention and affordable housing, and again, thank you for your tireless leadership also. I want to acknowledge two of my board members in the audience who, again, without their support, I would not be able to do the things that I do around the country and also for Pennsylvania. John Payon and Mark Swartz. Mark is in the baseball hat. He always has a baseball hat on. I think you've heard a common theme. It's a public-private partnership. I also want to acknowledge and thank certainly the Honigan family, the Middleton family. We've been partners for a while now, and Stephen Klein with your support. This is a model that Sister Mary touched on it, but I want to show to my colleagues across the nation. We applied for the New Markets tax credits because we thought it fit PHFA's mission very well as the administrator of the low-income housing tax credit. It had to be used in distressed areas. And I have a newfound appreciation for lobbying for New Markets tax credits, what the developers go through to lobby for our low-income housing tax credits. It's a tough process. The model you see here today, I urge you to talk to your congressmen when you see them to continue to fund this program, because this is exactly the model that we're going to be showing Congress and how it can work to serve the low-income areas and distressed communities. Sister Mary, you touched on it. Our work is far from done. Our PHFA's mission is to provide affordable housing to those in need, and Project Home has done a phenomenal job of doing that. We're proud to have you certainly as our partner going forward, and I'm going to continue our lobby efforts in Washington. It's a great model that we're going to show, and I can't wait to come back, because I think we're going to eat at JBC Soul Homes later on today, which is another project that we finance also. But this is how it gets done. U.S. Treasury, we want to get them out here. We want to get the credits reauthorized so we can continue to do this. So from behalf of PHFA staff and the board members, it's a pleasure to have Project Home, Sister Mary, as our partner. And we're looking forward to the next request, which I know in 2 weeks we're going to be making decisions there. So thank you for all that you do and for being a partner of PHFA. Thank you very much.
I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker, Pam Kania, who is the Regional Administrator for HRSA, the agency responsible for our federally qualified health center status. Pam has more than 25 years of public-private sector healthcare experience improving access to healthcare for vulnerable populations. It's been wonderful getting to know Pam and have her in this important leadership position, so please help me welcome her to the podium.
Thank you, Monica, and thanks for inviting me to join you today. These guys are a tough act to follow, don't you think? Although I think Loretta may be the toughest act to follow of all. On behalf of Secretary Sebelius of the United States Department of Health and Human Services and Regional Director Joanne Grossi, I am so happy to be a part of this celebration in honor of this milestone for Project Home and for this community. As Monica mentioned earlier, the Health Resources and Services Administration is a sub-agency within the Department of Health and Human Services, and our agency is responsible for funding and managing the Community Health Center program. And we are so delighted that Project Home successfully competed, and I mean competed, to get a grant and become a Community Health Center site. For those of you who may not be familiar, community health centers play a really critical role in our healthcare delivery system. It's the largest network of primary care providers in Pennsylvania and across the country. For more than 40 years, the community health centers have been providing high-quality care to individuals who are socially or economically challenged, for example, uninsured people or underinsured individuals, those people who live in rural communities, as well as those people experiencing homelessness. There are more than 9,000 community health center sites all across the country. More than 200 of those are here in Pennsylvania, and they're providing care to more than 21 million Americans and more than 670,000 of our fellow Pennsylvanians. So it's a really significant network of providers. So recognizing the role that those health centers play, the Affordable Care Act has made an historic investment in the Community Health Center program. The Affordable Care Act added an $11 billion to the Community Health Center program. And it's from those Affordable Care Act funds that Project Home has received this grant award that allows the start of this facility right on this ground where we stand today. I think all of you would agree that healthcare is a difficult business to be in and to sustain financially these days. And when you add in all of the federal requirements that come with a community health center grant around quality of care and access to care, such as serving all incoming patients, regardless of their inability to pay or their insurance status or their income, it becomes all the more difficult. So we are extremely grateful that Project Home has decided to take on this important role and become a community-based provider right here in Philadelphia. So congratulations again to the board and the staff of Project Home. And please rest assured that the United States Department of Health and Human Services stands with you and with this community as your partner.
Thank you, Pam. I would also like to take a moment to recognize another important guest in the audience, Ms. Jane Vincent, who's the Regional Director of HUD, who is able to join us today. And now, please welcome my amazing colleague, Janet Stearns. She is the Vice President for Real Estate Development at Project Home, and Janet has led this project of the Stephen Klein Wellness Center from conceptualized vision to a concrete reality. Janet.
Good morning. The words spoken here today are evidence of the many hands and hearts and minds that helped to get to this point in the life of the Stephen Klein Wellness Center. This is a celebration of a beginning and an end, a beginning of construction and an end to letting deteriorated and abandoned buildings stand on the site in our neighborhood. Thank you. The community has spoken, and it is a beloved community by many. The Project Home real estate development team who worked on this project over the last year, Matt McCarter, Larry Arney, and I, would like to give our thanks. First, we recognize the many dedicated Project Home staff who worked on this project before we started, including those still with Project Home, Renee Murdoch, Joe Roberts, and of course, never last and never least, our dear friend, Ms. Helen Brown. Among those who helped shape the early vision of this project are many leaders within the City of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority. Even with the guidance of Carl Primavera and others at Claire Harrison, we could not have made it through the maze of the land acquisition and permitting without the steadfast commitment of the city and the PRA. especially over the past months from Brian Abernathy and his team at the PRA. Thank you. Also with the PRA, Tanya Nick Scafidi, Jane Duffy, Melvis Dunbar, Brian Romano, many others, but thanks to all of you and to all the city of Philadelphia. When our architects from Brower and Hauptmann arrived on the scene about a year ago to start designing this building, there were already those at the table: Steve Klein, Sister Mary Scullion, Joan Dawson McConnon, Monica McCurdy, and others who had a vision of the Wellness Center. But we want to thank Mike Hauptmann, Scott Larkin, his team, Stephanie Grattino, they gave the shape and form to the vision of this beautiful building that we will now be building. The design process was also guided by Jeff Allegretti and others at Innova, Marty Eustace at Eustace Engineers, Sam Cuccia at ECI, Earth Engineers, many others, not the least of which is our construction managers, Intech Construction, and their amazing team under the leadership of Craig Sabatino, the president of Intech, and Phil Moses, whose dedication helped get us to this point. And now to the project manager, Harry Maglienti, and the site superintendent, Jim Neecom, who will lead this construction. Finally, we thank our amazing funders and all those involved in financing the projects. Once again, just to thank PNC and Ryan Shuey, Frank Peraza, PHFA and CCG, Commonwealth Cornerstone Group, our longtime friends Brian Hudson, Dave Evans, who was very instrumental in the project, Charlotte Fulmer, Nonprofit Finance Fund, and DJAC, Cassie Archibald, Brendan Byer, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and all of the PIDC staff involved in the RACP grant, and in the whole New Market Tax Credit closing team. On our side, George Nagel at Soren and Rand, Regional Housing Legal Services, Mark Levin, Laura Schwartz, Mark Schwartz, and many others, Ed Kreskoff, Mark Einstein, Millie Korn, all of you, thank you so much. The New Market Tax Credit process was an incredible team effort, and we'll be forever grateful to everyone on the whole team who worked around the clock through most of December to make sure that this project closed in 2013, and it will be built in 2014, God willing. All of you have contributed to an effort that will be part of the heart and soul of this beloved community. And so you too are a part of that community. You are adopted. The concept of beloved community in the 1960s became a hallmark of the civil rights movement as expressed by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Many here today have taken up the mantle of restoring a beloved community, a community free from the afflictions of poverty and violence, a community in which all can flourish, in Dr. King's words, as beloved sons and daughters of God. May it be so. And may we take another step towards that goal today as we dig this foundation, a new beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janet, for your incredible work. And I'd also like to recognize Amy Burns and the team of the Development Department of Project Home. Great job. And especially Jen McAleese, too, for all your hard work and effort in making today a reality. It's my distinct pleasure now to introduce to you John Middleton, who is speaking on behalf of he and his wonderful wife, who's a trustee of Project Home, Leigh Middleton. In 2011, Leigh and John came to us and said, we want to make chronic homelessness a distant memory in the history of the city of Philadelphia. And through their leadership and generosity, this is the third project of the Middleton initiative. We've completed Ray Homes, JBJ Soul Homes is almost completed, and now the Stephen Klein Wellness Center will be the third initiative. Their incredible generosity, their bold vision, and their leveraging of their resources to get other partners involved is unprecedented throughout the whole country, to be honest. So it is with heartfelt gratitude that I want to introduce to you John Middleton.
Leigh and I got to know Project Home many years ago, and we recognized from the beginning that this is a powerful organization. Sister Mary, Joan, and the entire Project Home community are mission-driven and results-oriented, with a proven track record of integrated, comprehensive, and effective solutions. It was natural for us to partner with them as a way to address our nation's most important social issues: housing, poverty, hunger, and education. We appreciate Project Home's dynamic combination of strong values and strategic thinking, and the Stephen Klein Wellness Center is a wonderful example of how Project Home builds strong partnerships and leverages resources to accomplish big projects. The many public, private, and nonprofit leaders here today represent the critical collaborations that are necessary to solve our toughest social problems. Project Home excels at assembling these partnerships, and no one has been more crucial to Project Home's success than the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. With Brian Hudson's leadership, Project Home not only has received tax credit allocations, but also a wealth of other support for both the Klein Wellness Center and its multiple housing projects. And we will be talking to you in 2 weeks. I don't know about you, but in baseball, it's like 12:01, so you can expect Mary's phone call about that time. Philadelphia has benefited enormously from Project Home's work over the past 25 years, and Leigh and I are convinced that our ongoing investment in Project Home will ensure that success continues in the future. We share Project Home's conviction that solutions to homelessness and poverty make us a stronger city as a whole. We, too, believe that this wellness center will not only meet the needs of the people and families who use its services, but that it will make Philadelphia a healthier and more economically prosperous city in many ways. Our vision to end homelessness cannot be achieved without the commitment of all the people who are here today. We truly are inspired by and grateful to the governor, the mayor, Darrell, Pam, Brian, Thomas Jefferson, Betty Moran, and the dozens of people and organizations partnering with Project Home who are making this project a reality. Your generous participation with Project Home in all its projects serves as a role model for our nation. And Steve, thank you especially for championing this exciting project from day one. Our gathering here today is a direct result of your steadfast mission to meet the healthcare needs of economically struggling people in the community. Over nearly 6 years, you have devoted countless hours to every aspect of this project, from the services it will provide to its design to fundraising. Your commitment and leadership have resulted in this munificent gift to the city. Everyone, please welcome Steve Klein, the lead founder of this project.